This is an LLD production.
Welcome to this episode of Owlia's Opinions, the new podcast in which we take a better look into the world we love, learn new things, and debate the toughest issues the world has in store. I am your host, Armon Owlia. I am a journalism student here at Drexel University in Philadelphia, and it is time to enter the new School of Thought. First of all, many thanks for the high amount of listening that was done for our premiere about 2 weeks ago. We reached 18 plays in the first 24 hours, which is a record for us. We hit 28 plays in the first week, also a record. So thank you guys, really, thank you, for making this episode the most listened show of the series. I truly appreciate it, and I hope you guys keep listening in the future because we have a lot in store for this season. So, Let's get down to business. First, I want to go back to, first of all, the third episode, when I mentioned a new up-and-coming artist named Marquel. So we have a clip. Let's roll it. But before we get to that, I want to address something for next week's show, which is essentially we're doing a music episode. And I'm happy to say that we have a guest that I will be interviewing for next week's show. He is a singer and a rapper. He's coming out. He's actually recording his first few songs right now. He is in a competition. He actually recently did a freestyle with Wyclef, which I will play during the commercial break. I enjoyed it. I think you guys will as well. He is Marquel, and he will be in the studio next week to talk about his music, to talk about his inspiration, to talk about his life. He is beyond phenomenal, great singer, but also a very great person. I know him personally, and he is just as great a person as he is a singer. So I can't wait. Next week we're having Marquel on the show. Marquel, we can't wait for you, and we're just really excited for you. Well, as many listeners may recall, a few days after that episode went out, I put out a tweet saying, quote, "Breaking. Next week's Owlia's Opinions episode will not feature Marquel, as stated in the episode. Stay tuned for updates." However, I did promise later on that when Marquel dropped his first single, we would play it on the show. Well, later has now come. For this week's love section, I am proud to play for the first time on the air Marquel's debut single entitled With My Ex, featuring Kennedy, available now on iTunes and Spotify. Small disclaimer though, there might be some language, so if you're under 13, get a parent to listen to this with you. I don't want to be blamed for you knowing a few curse words, so just letting you know. When we come back, we're going to take a look into the future of, well, it doesn't take much intelligence to figure out that it's something you can fit into your pocket. We'll be back after this.
I never really did it for a biddy. I only ever did it for my city. And now they all about here rocking with me. My DMs popping, yeah, I'm sitting pretty. Cause I worked and I earned it. I learned the hard way. Would've let go. I used to hold TikTok on my wrist. She said she's sick of this shit. Looked at my wrist and I knew it was it. Time to let her go. I just woke up and I broke up with my ex. I'm not sure that I can do this all again. I just woke up and I broke up with my ex. I'm not sure that I can do this shit again. No. sure that I can find my way home.
Been a long, long road, but I'm sure that I can find my way home.
It's been a long road, but I'm sure that I can find my way home, yeah.
Been a long, long road, but I'm sure that I can find my way home.
I just woke up and I broke up with my ex. I'm not sure that I can do this all again. I just woke up and I broke up with my ex. I'm not sure that I can do this shit again, no. And I woke up and I broke up with my ex through a text, cause I flex and she thinks I'm the best. But I swear I won't do this again, no. Swear I can't do this again.
So that was With My Ex by Marquel. A very strong debut, I think. And I must say, those are some very well-placed vocals by Kennedy, who was the woman you heard on the track with Marquel. I think she'll be going places in the future, and I cannot wait to hear how she'll do on her own. Without a doubt though, I think she'll probably do amazingly. For more on my full review of the song, go to our website, www.lovelearndebate.com. Click on the Love tab and take a full look at my review of With My Ex. You'll be glad you did. Again, www.lovelearndebate.com and go to the Love tab. You can even leave your comments on how you felt on the website. Hey Siri, would you like to help me introduce this week's Learn section?
Certainly. Armon. Philip K. Dick. Isaac Asimov. Arthur C. Clarke. What do all three of these authors have in common? They all believed in artificial intelligence and the progress it would make in the future.
Certainly, Siri. Artificial intelligence is one of the greatest dreams turned realities that have been made possible during this technological revolution. It began as a hope, which turned into algorithms, which have now turned into a reality, with artificial intelligence now being able to fit in the palms of our hands. Now comes the next step. We have intelligence and some levels of application, but now we need to program emotion and conscience. But why? Well, it's based on something that the author and futurist Ray Kurzweil called the singularity. What is the singularity, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you. The singularity is a theorized point in the future, estimated around the year 2045, so that would be about 20, 30 years from now, where the human consciousness will be transferred into computers, essentially meaning that humans will become immortal. Already at this point, we have a very basic artificial intelligence, capable of listening to our requests, processing them, and understanding what we want, which is a good first step that will get better over time. This has been demonstrated by roboticists such as David Hanson and the great minds over at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, both of whom have created socially skilled learning robots. The next step, however, is to see how we can apply this simple system and add to it consciousness, emotions, and ethics. So how will we do it? Well, I'm no computer scientist. However, looking back into general psychology, many behaviors are sometimes learned through rules our parents and society made as we grew up. For example, don't steal, don't cross the street without looking both ways, always say please and thank you, and other rules like that. So, if the human and robotic minds are in effect very similar to each other, as demonstrated by David Hanson and the CMU team, then the answer lies in the same avenue as developing rules as children. So where do we turn? Believe it or not, the author Isaac Asimov came up with an ingenious solution, an answer as to how robots were not able to only become smarter, but also much more emotionally aware. That lies in something that Asimov called the 3 laws of robotics. The 3 laws are as follows. Law number 1. A robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. Number 2. A robot must obey the orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And finally, law number 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. Now, as demonstrated by those 3 laws, these would give robots a basic level of conscience defined with certain parameters. However, even with those 3 laws, there is some level of restriction that would be needed to be addressed in the future. For example, in the second law, it was that a robot may obey the orders given it by humans except where such orders would conflict with the first law, which means that robot cannot kill humans. However, that would mean that the robot would be the servant of the human, which we do not want. Instead, what is needed is that the robot should be able to think for itself, to judge the situation based on the presented information, and act upon it. And yeah, we have the third law, which is about self-preservation, and would essentially mean that the robot can kill other robots, but not other humans. And keep in mind, what I'm about to say is hypothetical. Hypothetically, let's say that the robot encountered a person such as, Jeffrey Dahmer. How would the robot be able to protect itself against someone that barbaric? It wouldn't. So, currently we don't have a foolproof way to create consciousness or emotions through computer technology. However, we will need to develop this, and we have a decent basis for which to go on. Because if we don't develop this, then...
Hasta la vista, baby.
What did you guys think? Did you guys learn anything new? If so, please put a comment on www.lovelearndebate.com, go to the Learn tab, and you'll find the article right there. When we come back after this performance by Omi Larijani, I'll talk about the 90th Academy Awards and my own personal reaction to the nominations. And now, some final thoughts. A debate to start at the end of this program. The Oscars, one of the most prestigious awards not only in film, but probably in the world. They are often regarded as the golden standard, with people even being touted for being Academy Award winners or nominees. Just think about this for a second. When was the last time you heard Tom Hanks just be introduced in a trailer as just Tom Hanks? Never. He's always been Academy Award winner Tom Hanks. However, As prestigious as an Oscar is, it has been well known for being one of the most political awards of all time, with films such as La La Land, Argo, Birdman, and The Hurt Locker often being cited as evidence. Now, normally the politics are not as obvious. Even 2 years ago, when celebrities were upset over the lack of African American nominees, the politics weren't necessarily visible. The 90th Oscars, however, may now have just taken the cake as the most political Oscars of all time. Now, 2017 was full of politics, especially with the rise of a new president in Donald Trump. And with his rise came new movements, including #MeToo, freedom of the press, Israel-Palestinian relations, etc. These films, all of them, really focus on many of these issues, with some just well deserving of being nominated due to how well they're put together, and others that are just nominated for its glitz and political subtext. Despite this, however, I urge people to still watch, since anything can happen. However, one thing to remember, either way, you will be in for a show. So what do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree? Either way, please go to www.lovelearndebate.com, click on the debate section, and respond, please. I also put my own predictions and explanations for who will win the biggest awards at the Oscars, which can also be found in the debate section. Oh, and while you're at it, don't forget to like us on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/lovelearndebate. Follow us on Twitter at lovelearndebate, and follow us now on our new Instagram page at lovelearndebate, and even subscribe to the podcast on SoundCloud or iTunes Podcast. My thanks to Omi Larejani for the graphics, show soundtrack, and along with Marquel and Kennedy, their amazing contributions to the show. Music-wise, anyway. Last, but certainly not least, I would like to thank Imogen Aiken and Hilary Lau for their tremendous generosity in lending their voices. But that's it for this week, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, ready to go. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, keep loving, keep learning, keep debating. We'll see you next time on Owlia's Opinions. Goodbye.
This has been an LLD production recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.